Hey, deserving listeners, the Ultimatum, Queer Love, Season 2, Netflix. Let's watch.
My honey, I can't believe we are here. This entire 4 years has been nothing but pure bliss. You always show up with a smile on your face and so much love for me.
It's interesting because I assumed that Marita was a lot shorter than Ashley. I don't know if it's the way that they would cuddle or sit or something. But, and Marita has high heels on, I assume. So, but I think Marita's actually pretty tall. I don't know why that matters, but somehow, I think in my family, we have an obsession when we were kids. When kids are growing, you just I wonder how tall they're going to be. And there's just kind of like I'll often, I don't know if this is TMI, not really, that when I see a celebrity in a movie or an interview or something, I'll look up how tall the internet says they are. Maybe it's not right, but I'm always just kind of curious. It's like, oh, that dude looks super tall. How tall is he? And Google it. Oh, he's 6'3". That's pretty tall. Why does that matter? It's so weird, that it matters. But and I, I'm not like, oh, Tom Cruise, he's only 5'7", he's a shorty. Like, it's not that kind of thing. It's more just, maybe it's almost humanizing to just know that these parasocial people have, they're in the world, they have a reality to them. So anyway, so there's that. I'm also gonna make a prediction that, what do I think is gonna happen? I don't think they're gonna get engaged. In fact, I think there's a chance that Ashley won't even propose, or anyway, because there didn't now. So I'll be very surprised if I can see Ashley proposing and Marita saying no, but I will be very surprised if they get engaged here. Now, I'll also comment that Ashley is reading something, and for people like Ashley, it can actually be very helpful. When I've worked with couples like this, if I'm reading it right, I will actually sometimes suggest that the Ashleys write it out, either in text or an email or letter or something, because in the moment they can sometimes have a hard time accessing these things out of anxiety or something, or just lack of connection with their emotions, or general shutdown in the face of anxiety. And so if they're alone, sometimes they're much better at finding the words and preparing for it and then stating it. Because one of the catch-22s in this marriage, or in this relationship, as there's in a lot of configurations like this, is that Marita wants love and affection. And when she really needs it, even if she's not explicitly stating it, it's in the air that Marita will be upset if Ashley doesn't give it, right? By now they know that about each other. Like, Marita could come home from work, be upset about something, crying about something unrelated to Ashley, and Ashley will know, uh-oh, this is a test. Not Marita is putting me to the test, but this is one of those situations that if I don't rise to the occasion, Marita's going to be upset, maybe for good reason. And so with that anxiety, shutdown happens, because that's what avoidant people do. They pull away. They even lack access to, they lose access involuntarily to their emotions and their needs and just noticing other people. So it is a catch-22, because in that moment they need to rise to the occasion, but they can't rise to the occasion because the situation is anxiety-provoking, which is causing them to shut down. And in separation from that anxious situation, they can have the freedom to connect with themselves and freely express, put it to paper, and then later present it. So I wonder if that's what Ashley is doing.
Whether that world is with me or without me, just know I will always be your biggest supporter in life, no matter what. I'm crying. I hate crying.
I also want to give a shout out to Marita's earlier, I don't think I reacted to this, that she said earlier that she used to hide her keloids that are on her chest. And at some point she was just like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be ashamed. It's just a thing that I have, and it's fine. And I'm And she has consistently worn tops, at least from my memory, that, have her skin and her shoulders or whatever, and so you can see them. And I love that. It's not anything to be ashamed of, particularly in particular, but I said that funny. It's not anything to be ashamed of. Also, she is an activist for people that have keloids or other kinds of things that are deemed to be shameful or disgusting or something. And I just love that body positivity and that statement. She is standing up for others. I wonder if some of you might even have seen Marita do this and think, maybe I could actually spread my wings in that way, or at the very least see myself differently. We, particularly women, but men too, are just bombarded with body shaming and all that. And so it's getting, but it's also getting worse. And, I'm old enough to remember that the way that it was, the body shaming, that was present in the 70s and 80s, but it is so much worse now. I mean, it's off the charts worse. It's so noticeably worse than it was. So, not that people with keloids in the 70s and 80s would have been happy about it, but just generally speaking, and so for Marita, I just want to commend her greatly, not only to just do it in public, but to do it on TV. People are shamed for the smallest of things, and she must have known. She's young enough to know the way people talk about this sort of thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if there are viewers that have reached out to her and said, you need to cover that up. I don't want to see that. It's like, I couldn't even look at it, that kind of shit. It's just like, grow the fuck up.
That was beautiful, and this is the emotion I need from you.
I know, I just have a hard time showing it, and I've worked on it.
Everything that I want with you.
Same.
Yeah, and it's heartbreaking because if I'm reading the situation right with Ashley, which I can't know, it's quite possible that Ashley inside feels even more desperate, like 10 times more desperate than Marita does. That there's a little girl or an inner person for Ashley that is just screaming for love and affection and connection and vulnerability and togetherness. Because generally speaking, in my theory, my opinion, and it's a philosophical thing to begin with, you can't really measure it, I believe that the vast, vast majority of humans, if not every human, has the same capacity, the same need for love and connection and attachment. And for people that learn early in life that they have to shut down and turn away to protect themselves, don't signal to anyone. For Marita or for preoccupied, I don't think Marita's preoccupied, but for preoccupied, maybe she is, but I haven't really seen anything. But for preoccupied people, they signal a lot, right? So it seems like preoccupied, anxious people are the more needy, but they are just in connection with it and expressing it more. The avoidant person, I find often, is even more needy because they never signal. They don't even know they need it. At least for the needy people, they signal it so often that occasionally people actually respond, right? I mean, even just the act of expressing your needs is at least you saying, I deserve to express this. For avoidant people, they never get that. That's why I say underneath every avoidant person is a preoccupied, anxious person. But it never comes out. Or when it does, it's really weird. It comes out in bursts, in hostility or anger or running away or terror or something. And so it breaks my heart for Ashley. I don't know about you, but I get this sense that she wants to reach out. She's saying she's working on it. I hope she goes to therapy with a therapist that understands what's actually happening, because this is hard work to do. It is hard work to do. As a mildly avoidant person myself, I'm telling you, it's hard work. Yeah, the key that I will key in on avoidant people is that the marker of success is when, and the thing they want to kind of push themselves toward is crying in front of their partner spontaneously when they are hurt, instead of getting avoidant or angry, to, as their feelings are hurt, they cry. So an interim step is, that hurt my feelings, what happened right there? But a more effective thing to do is just to cry, because the other person they won't hear it intellectually. They'll experience it viscerally. My partner is crying. I just hurt their feelings. Now, maybe they're misinterpreting it. I don't know. But that is the core of it. That's the core of the avoidance, is that pain, is that hurt, is that rejection. And then they run, or they shut down, or they get angry or something, instead of just being real. It's like, and that this is just general advice for all of us, that we are always going to be hurt, particularly by the people closest to us. And the fastest way to health for ourselves, for our relationship, is to instantly just go, oh. And, maybe you say, maybe I'm misinterpreting what just happened, but that hurt. And I'm not accusing you, I'm not being angry, all these caveats. But that did hurt my feelings. And then when that happens on a smaller scale, and on accusatory scale, it gives the other person a chance to actually go, oh, it's empathy. I'm rambling. Let's see what happens here.
I definitely couldn't imagine my life without you. Am I someone that you see being with forever? Am I your forever?
I want you to be my forever. Because I can't imagine a life without you. Which is why I'm still here, which is why I'm still trying, giving my all.
Okay. That sounds... Do they have the option to just not get engaged and just stay, in a pre-engagement relationship, committed relationship?
I still have this fantasy in my head. I'm obsessed with love, and I want that with you.
You do deserve all the love in the world. Have you been truly happy this past couple months with me?
Yeah, that sounds like Ashley preparing for Marita's sake, and maybe for Ashley's, just say, I think we should call this off.
My gut and my heart is telling me to do one thing, but my head's like, do another thing. I don't know if I can go through with like an engagement. It's not right at this point in time for us.
Yeah. The way the music is happening, it's almost like they are implying that Marita wanted a proposal, but I don't think she did. I don't think so. But I could see Marita hoping for a sign that Ashley was changing, and maybe a proposal would be that, and then Marita would make a choice in that moment. I don't know.
When I've been thinking about this moment, I was ready. So if you were going to commit to me and ask me to get engaged to you, I was going to say yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, though, right? That Marita would do that. It almost seems unwise, given the way she was talking and what she was experiencing. But you could see someone do that, right? We're not privy to the love and connection. They haven't shown us, or I don't know if they don't have it. I think they do. But Marita said something interesting earlier. I don't know if I included it. She says she's in love with love. She's like, I'm just so in love. I just have so much love to give. I'm in love with love. I just love, So I don't know exactly what that means. That could mean a lot of different things, but I think there might be something else going on, as there often is, but some kind of historical thing with her, family thing. What did we know about her life? Let's see. I reached stars. Turmoil. There was a lot of turmoil in my childhood, and I've put on a happy face and think about others' needs. That's a paraphrase from what she was saying. And she's used to not getting her needs met in her life, so maybe she has a hard time taking all of that into account. It's also possible that, given that her needs were put on the back burner when she was growing up, that she's particularly sensitive to it. Maybe if Marita were raised differently, she would feel a little neglected, but not as neglected, because we always transfer onto our partners, displace onto our partners our relational traumas from childhood and exaggerate things. We'll find people that sort of give us a chance to do that through projective identification typically. Anyway, so for Marita, she would have said yes. It's interesting. Yeah, I wonder if they'll continue to date.
Well, I guess I'm ready to leave here.
You're not even gonna hug me? Ashley, I don't want to lose you, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, if Marita is considering being with Ashley, it makes sense to give it some more time. There's no rush. I mean, Marita's 25, so there's no rush here. Yeah, but I could see Marita saying, let's just break up and call it quits. I don't want to live in limbo. But I will say, I think separate from this for the most part, this is an opportunity for me to talk about something that I see people doing sometimes where they'll be unhappy with their partner pre-engagement and they will interpret a proposal as the partner turning a new leaf. I don't know if Marita is saying this. It doesn't sound like it, but there could be an element of this where Marita is like, I'm not getting my needs met. The relationship is empty. Nothing has changed. There's no affection. I'm not getting any sort of love, but I'm desperate for some way to make this work, and I'm going to put myself in the back burner. So if I will consciously believe that if Ashley were to propose, that means that everything's going to be different from now on, that I am going to get the love that I finally deserve, and I'm not going to feel that way anymore. I don't think Marita is necessarily feeling that, but maybe there's an element of that. We've certainly seen this in other scenarios where people will make that mistake. Or another mistake that people will make, it's like, if we can actually finally get married, actually have the marriage itself and the officialness of that, or maybe once we have kids, that'll get my partner to stay home more or something that's. Now, sometimes that can happen, honestly. It's not absurd, but it's rare. It's certainly not something to bake on.
I'm heartbroken. If she can't do any more than she already does, then it is only fair that I can go find someone who does that for me. And I don't want to. I want it to be her.
So there's a good possibility that I imagine that a lot of people watching would say, like, why, Marita? You've been beating your head against the wall for years now. Why are you doing this? Clearly, at the very least, you just have a different sort of person out there that you're looking for. So what's going on? And I'm sure it's way more complicated than that. We're not seeing them connect. From the outside, it could feel like the relationship is indeed empty, but it might not be. But there's another angle here that I'm guessing some of you have been thinking, because there's a lot of smart folks out there, psychologically minded. Some of you were therapists and psychologists. Anyway, that Marita might be desperately trying to, establish love and connection and attention from her family, and she found Ashley because Ashley was withholding. That's one word for it. Another is just avoidant attachment, cut off from her feelings, trouble accessing her feelings. But that Marita would initially be attracted to Ashley out of familiarity and a desire to replay the past, to have it go differently this time. And no matter how much time goes by, Marita just finds herself going back to that well, that empty well. And we all know that us humans, ourselves included, will do that sort of thing, where we will continue, whether it's with the same person, empty well, or finding the same sort of partner and going back to the empty well. Sometimes it's even finding different jobs with bosses that allow us to recreate past dynamics with our families. So it's possible that Marita is stuck in that loop where she is continually trying to work out the traumas of her childhood, the turmoil. And it's possible that she interprets, so that word turmoil, who knows what that means, but I wonder if for her, she had an abandoning parent, and Ashley exhibits that in a way, and that chasm that she feels is constantly she's constantly trying to jump that chasm as a way to finally feel good enough or finally feel secure. And that's what's compelling her to go against what she really needs, you know? So it's just a possibility. The other thing I should say that maybe some of you are wondering why I'm not mentioning it is that Ashley talked about having been in a severely abusive relationship in the past before Marita. And the police were called, right? Something like that. Yeah. And that Ashley she said that she lied to the police to enable or to preserve her own safety or something to get her partner out of trouble. Now, who knows? Maybe Ashley is not accurate about that memory, but that's what she was talking about. So it's possible that for Ashley, it's harder for her to open up because of that, right? You could imagine that that would be some sort of factor. All right, well, that does it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.